Have you ever thought about how many decisions affecting your daily life are made through the political process? Actually, everything from the quality of your local public educational system, road networks, military forces to war, and so on are determined through political decisions. So ano-ano pa ba yung mga influences ng politics? So politics also influences the amount of taxes you pay and how the burden of financing government programs is distributed among citizens. So si politics din ang nagde-determine kung sino-sino ba ang makakatanggap ng income support from the government and sino or aling mga businesses ang maswerte makakatanggap ng subsidies from government. So what is political process? Political process is based on rules embodied in a nation's constitution. And democratic nations, citizens have the opportunity to vote on issues or for candidates who take positions on those issues. So the outcome of the process depends on voting and the behavior of a host of characters, including politicians, elected officials, special interest groups, and bureaucrats. So the political process involves more than merely counting votes and deciding on the rules for reaching agreement. Agendas for political actions are drawn up by political parties, and alternative proposals are placed before Congress and legislatures. So a variety of groups then seek to provide voters with information on the cost and benefits of alternatives so they can decide how to vote. So what is public good? So a public good is a commodity or a service that is provided without profit to all members of a society either by the government or a private individual or organization. So ano mga halimbawa ng public good? Roads and highways, street lights, public library, and so on. So halimbawa, street lights. Kapag nagpatayo ang government ng streetlights sa lahat ng highways, so wala naman silang kikitain in return after nila matayo yung mga streetlights, pero magkakaroon ng benefits sa mga dumadaan na sasakyan. Roads and highways, wala naman silang kikitain after nila matayo yung roads and highways, pero mabe-benefit yung lahat ng dumadaan dun sa roads and highways na mula sa society. So public good has two characteristics. Number one is non-rivalry. Number two is non-excludability. So non-rivalry, this means that when a good is consumed, it doesn't reduce the amount available for others. So halimbawa sa street lights. So kapag may dumaan na isang sasakyan sa unahan ng isang sasakyan, hindi naman mababawasan yung light na mula sa street light doon sa mga susunod na sasakyan. So hindi naman sila nag-aagawan ng ilaw doon sa street lights. So non-rivalry pag public goods. So non-excludability. Halimbawa naman, nagpatayo ng dam ang government para doon sa mga residente na binabaha. So nagpatayo sila ng dam para makontrol yung baha. So hindi lang naman isang bahay yung mapoproteksyonan ng dam na nilagay ng government, but lahat ng residents na binabaha at nilagyan ng dam ay mapoprotektahan. Non-excludability. The supply of public goods through political institution or the concept of political equilibrium. So let us see kung paano ba napo-provide ang public goods through political process. So what is public choice? So public choice is one made through political interaction of many people according to established rules. So the supply of a public good through political institutions requires agreements on the quantity of the public good and the means of finance. So political institutions rarely require unanimous agreement on both the quantity of the public good to produce and the cost sharing scheme. So nakalagay dito, rarely require unanimous agreement. So ibig sabihin, lalo na sa democratic country, na hindi requirement na unanimous ang decision sa pag-supply ng public good but dinadaan sa voting or election, which is mas nananalo ang majority rule or at least 51% of the total voters. So a political equilibrium is an agreement on the level of production of one or more public goods given the specified rule for making the collective choice and the distribution of tax shares among individuals. So ang tax shares is sometimes called tax prices or pre-announced levies assigned to citizens and are equal to a portion of the unit cost of a good proposed to to be provided by government. So sabi nga natin kanina, ang public good ay pinoprovide ng government nang wala silang nakukuhang profit in return or wala silang kinikita after nila ma-provide yung public good sa society. So saan sila kukuha ng pondo para maipatayo ang isang public goods or maibigay sa society? So doon sila mangongolekta ng tax para makaipon or maka-acquire ng income para sa pagpapatayo or para sa pondo ng public good. Public choices are made formally through elections in which each individual is usually allowed one vote. So the economic analysis of the political process assumes that people evaluate the desirability of goods supplied by government in the same way they consider market goods and services. So they are presumed to vote in favor of a proposal only if they will be made better off by its passage. So paano ba magiging better off ang isang voter? Magiging better off ang isang voter kung ang marginal benefit niya ay nag-exceeds sa marginal cost or at least equal to its marginal cost. So to avoid the surplus and deficits, dapat yung tax shares ay equal lamang sa cost ng isang proposal for public good. A rational person's most preferred political outcome is the quantity of the government supplied good corresponding to the point at which the person's tax share is exactly equal to the marginal benefit of the good. So this level of output of the good provides the maximum possible satisfaction to that person. So increasing the quantity of the government supplied good, a fraction of a unit over this amount would make the person worse off. So ang desisyon ng isang tao kung magboboto o hindi magboboto ay nakatebende sa benefits and cost na matatanggap niya. So ano ang pwedeng benefits? So the individual might receive benefits from voting that do not necessarily depend on whether the desired alternative is approved. So another one is yung pleasure na matatanggap niya after niya ma-exercise yung duties niya sa pagiging isang citizen. So yung cost naman is pwedeng yung time and effort na makukonsume niya pagpunta niya sa mga voting centers or polls. So another one is yung gathering ng information necessary to make a choice. So pagbabasa niya ng newspaper, panonood ng news, meetings, just to understand the issues and positions of the candidate. So this can be a time-consuming process. So karamihan sa mga voters ay hindi nagboboto kasi niisip nila na yung boto nila ay hindi makakapag-create ng any difference sa outcome ng election. Kaya nga sa mga democratic country, ginagawa ng legal requirement ang pagboboto para maiwasan or makontrol yung number ng mga free riders na non-voters. So bakit maraming free rider? So maybe dahil sa rational ignorance or the lack of information about public issues that results because the marginal cost of obtaining the information exceeds the apparent marginal benefits of doing so. So the political process. So political process is analysis of how political institutions themselves are established. So in almost all nations, the rules for making choices on issues of common interest comprise a constitution. So in effect, a constitution pairs choices regarding specific activities with a specific decision rule. So those activities for which the constitution specifies no rule are usually left as private or market decisions. So the advantages and disadvantages of various collective choice rules require study to determine which rules are most likely to be paired with which economic activities.